Hey everyone, it's Types, and Pokemon just revealed a new Pokemon TCG expansion, which is Ninja Spinner. We've known about this expansion for a little while now, but haven't really known much about the set. By the way, this is the second, well, okay, this is the Japanese set, Ninja Spinner, making up I think the international set, Chaos Rising here. In Japan, it's releasing March 13th, so that's coming up soon. And then also Chaos Rising, which is releasing May 22nd, which I'd say is not that soon. And yeah, I mean, this is a set that features some of the new Mega Evolutions from ZA, but not the DLC. And yeah, let's just hop right into it. We got a few interesting cards here. And first of all, we have the Pokemon are, yeah, they're all the Gen 6 starters here. And we have the Chesnaught line. The previous evolutions are not anything special here, but Chesnaught here, oh, it's also not super special, but its ability Needle Armor, as long as it's in play, whenever this Pokemon is damaged by an attack from your opponent's active Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. This is kind of interesting. I believe all 3 of the Stage 2s also interact with energy in some way. The other 2 interact with it in a more similar way than Chesnaught, as we'll get to. But this card here is able to, theoretically hit your opponent for a bunch when it's hit into. It for each grass attached to it. And yes, each grass attached to it. So it's not a card. So this means it would work with Meganium in Standard, which is a pretty interesting combo here. So you can get like 4 relatively easily. And then I mean, it is still like 2 stage 2 lines. It's not like free or anything, but it's not too hard to do. And then your opponent's taking 120 when they hit into you, and then your attack for 3 energy here, which is 2 grass and a colorless. You do 160, and then during your opponent's next turn, the Fang Pokemon cannot retreat. This attack is not very good. Also, 4 retreat is like bad unless there's any synergy for it, which I'm pretty sure in Standard there's no synergy for 4 retreat cost Pokemon. In the past we have seen cards like that, but they're not even usually that good. But ultimately, Chesnaught here is able to do a decent chunk of damage between the ability and the attack. But it's not like super good. We've seen cards like this in the past, and generally they're like not very good. I guess in Pocket, some of these are kind of good, but that's pretty different there. Ultimately, this is okay. I don't know. To be honest, I think this is the weakest of the cards. And to be honest, there aren't too many powerful cards in this release today, but there are some interesting ones as well. We do have the next line here, Fennekin has Call for Family, which is cool, I guess. Then we've got Brixton, and then of course we have Delphox here. So the ability is, as I said, the abilities interact with energy, and this says that once during your turn, you may discard a basic fire energy from your hand or to use this ability. Draw until you have 7 cards in hand. And yeah, this is interesting. I don't know how good this is. Then you have the attack for 2 fire, 30 times the number of energy attached to all Pokemon in a play. Funnily enough, this I guess also works with Meganium, not the fire energy, but it doesn't need fire energy, so you could like boost it with Meganium. Obviously, that's like not good, but yeah, this is not a very good attack in terms of like the multiplier. You have something like what Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, I guess, is like okay. Pretty sure there's no support yet for it, at least revealed so far. But yeah. Oh, also apparently, Quilladin or whatever, this Pokemon is like one of the most forgotten as well, which is like kind of funny. But anyways, I forgot to mention it because I also forgot it. But anyways, Delphox here. The ability is interesting. The attack is interesting. They don't have like great synergy. I mean, they use energy, right? But I mean, ultimately, as I said, the multiplier is just low. This kind of reminds me of Iono's Voltorb, which it does have a lower multiplier, but it is a basic as well. And yeah, I mean, like even with like 10 energy on your board, you're not one-shotting. I mean, you're one-shotting some stuff. You're not one-shotting everything, and that's 10 energy, and that's like absurd, right? So yeah, just don't think the attack's super good. Then you look at the ability, and I'm just comparing it to Revavroom. This is, I'd say, a lot worse than Revavroom's ability, because Revavroom is on a stage 1, discarding any basic energy, or no, any energy, doesn't need to be a basic, from your hand on to use this ability. Draw till you have 6 cards in hand. Revavroom is okay, I guess. I definitely say it's not very good. The reason why, if you're not like familiar with why these abilities aren't super good, um, is generally draw abilities. They do a few different things, but generally they're important for getting you, um, I guess, set up in the like early to mid game, but also going in like if you're hit by a hand disruption in the late game. I suppose we are losing Iono, so it's not as big of a deal. But if you're in a situation near the really at any point in the game where you don't have what you need, then the engine is supposed to get you to where you need to go. That being said, if you don't have the energy, like if you don't have resources, then you probably don't have the energy, or you might not, and then you like can't use the ability. So it like can get you out of bad situations, but it's not consistent. So yeah, the fact that you need to discard a fire as well is like kind of awkward. I guess I like blowtorch and it like kind of has synergy or like works in a similar situation as that. But yeah, Delphox I think unfortunately is also not very good. I think it's more interesting than Chesnaught in terms of like how like good it could be, but I don't see it being very good. And then we have the Greninja line here. I believe this was like leaked or something. But I'm not like super familiar with that. And people are also speculating about it because of the Metagem V-Band. That's like the main thing I heard about it from, which, long story short, I don't think this has anything to do with the Metagem V-Band. As we'll take a look at the card, I don't think they're related to each other at all. Not that the card is terrible, but it is the best of the three stage twos. I mean, it is a mega. I don't know if the other ones are also getting megas in this set or I don't know. I'm not sure about that to be honest. But I feel like if they were, they would be revealed together. And obviously, Greninja is just the most popular. I don't remember if the other two. Honestly, I'm not very familiar with ZA. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, so Greninja here, Mega Greninja EX. Obviously, it's a stage 2 3 prizer. And it only has 350 HP, which is like low for this. But I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, it's not actually low, right? Compared to like most Pokemon. But anyways, you have the attack Ninja Spinner. Oh, if you didn't know, the attacks are like the same name. Like the main Pokemon's attacks are the same name as the set in Japan. Yeah, figured I'd mention that if you didn't know that. Like with Inferno X or what else? Not Oh yeah, Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave. Anyway, so a Ninja Spinner though for 2 water, you do 120. You may put a water energy from this Pokemon to your hand, and then have it do 80 more. Oh, okay, this is actually very similar to Greninja Break. And then the ability is also like the same, or okay, I guess technically not Greninja Break because Greninja Break only had an ability. But you have the ability on Mega Greninja EX here as well, Mortal Shuriken. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active, you discard a basic water from your hand, and then you put 6 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. This is the same ability as on Greninja Break. And then I guess the stage 1 also has some similarities. You search for 3 Pokemon, reveal them, put them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. There was like a Frogadier that like set you up. The Frogadier previously was better than this one, but I think it's like a callback there as well. Anyways, the attack though, it can do up to 200. Realistically, like you want to put the energy back to your hand, it's not that big of a deal. Either one, you are knocked out, then it's presumably better to have it in your hand than in the discard, right? And then 2, you're not knocked out, and then you can just reattach. Then yeah, if you want to like set up another one by reattaching or by attaching to the bench one, then you're not able to do that because you have to reattach the active, but that's not like too bad. I don't know. There might be times when you don't return it, but also getting it back to your hand means you can use it with the ability as well. So the ability is interesting here. Obviously, being able to put a bunch of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon can be very targeted. Comparing this to Meowscarada, I think is the best comparison. Meowscarada EX in standard, you discard a basic grass from your hand, and you put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This can go after their active, which is useful. Meowscarada EX does not need to be in the active, unlike Mega Greninja EX, which does. That being said, you could switch this in now. You could use something like Surfing Beach or just like Switch or whatever. There are different ways to do this, but you're not going to be able to do this. Like, don't expect yourself to be using 4 this ability every turn. Though if you do, that's like absurdly powerful. But obviously, Mega Greninja EX doing. I mean, you could do 260 active. You could do 320 with 2 abilities. And then, of course, you could go after bench Pokemon. This is very like comparing it to Mascot EX, it does twice as much. It is a 3 prizer, and again, it doesn't need to be in the active, so it's not something you're like stacking a ton. But I do think the ability is quite good. I mean, as I said, this was on Greninja Break. The hero was quite different in terms of power level and also in terms of like the metagame. There's just a lot of differences, so comparing it one to one just doesn't really work here. But I do like the ability. The ability is pretty good here. The attack is kind of whatever. It's fine. I guess. I mean, it's not that good, right? My initial thought was actually comparing this to Dragapult EX, and now that I think about it, it's a lot worse, isn't it? Because you do 200 for 2 and then 6 damage guns, but you also need like to do more stuff with energies, and you're a 3 prizer, right? I mean, it's not a lot worse. You could make an argument that it's stronger than Dragapult. I guess it might be because you can, use the ability, and then you can like, again, you can use multiple, you can kind of control it a little better than Dragapult, I guess. I mean, you can't spread it out, but it can hit the active. And then but I mean, and I guess being like a 3 prize Dragon Ball isn't too bad. Um, I mean, it's not as good as a 2 prize Dragon Ball. We also have a better stage one. And like Dragon Ball EX is good without Drakeloak, but it's like a lot better with Drakeloak, right? So I don't know. This card it's definitely the best of the three. I'm interested in hearing people's thoughts in the comment section on this card if they think it's like good or if they think it's like bad or fine. I think it's okay. We are seeing Water doing some interesting things with Megas as well. In Japan in post rotation, where of course these are post rotation, but also like it's fallen off. So I don't know how good that stuff is. But then we have some support cards, which are mostly support for Greninja X. I'll talk about AZ's Tranquility first, though. You switch your active on your bench. Then if you move, if you switch, then you heal 80 from the Pokemon you switch. Um, Oh yeah, the Pokemon you move to your bench. Yeah. So we've seen cards like this in the past. Specifically, we've seen like Switch card, which is like mostly just Switch with some minor upside, but only worked on basics. So that's not that similar. This is more similar to Mallow and Lana, which was a tag team supporter, which had synergy there with tag call. But outside of that, I mean, it was fine for healing, but that healed more as well. And so that could be better. What's to say about, okay, is there something missing in this rules text to switch out one of your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon? If you move a Pokemon to your bench this way, heal 80 from that Pokemon. Is this something about EXs here? Is this like not rulebox or only rulebox or something? I don't know. I don't know. Can someone tell me in the comment section? This like definitely seems wrong because it's missing the thing about EXs, which could be in like reminder text, but um, it's definitely missing. I'm pretty sure. So someone tell me in the comment section. Maybe it's like non-rule box. Maybe it's just rule box. I don't know. Ultimately, though, this is like okay. Healing 80 on a supporter and then switching. I mean, it's like I guess a lot better than other healing supporters. But most healing supporters are pretty terrible, right? So this is okay. I could see it seeing some play. I think healing. I mean, decks aren't aiming for one shots as much post rotation. That being said, they are still like easily getting 2 shots, so healing 80 probably isn't going to get you there. But if you're playing something like Kangaskhan, this could be interesting. You need to take advantage of like the switch and the healing, which I'm not exactly sure the situation for that. My initial thought was Palafin, but one, that deck's like not very good, and two, it's rotating, right? So that doesn't work, but I don't know. This is okay. Then we have 2 other cards. We have a Big Catch Net. What kind of name is that? But anyways, you shuffle up to 3 water Pokemon in for 3 basic water energies from your discard into your deck. And this is good, right? We are also losing Super Odd. But yeah, I mean, this recovers up to 6 cards. It recovers, it recovers a bunch of things, right? It's like powerful recovery on an item. Obviously, it will depend what deck you're playing. You need to be playing a deck that's like really water focused, because I mean, Dice Stretch is very good getting cards back to your hand, and then it can get like any Pokemon. So this can never get back your Pheasantip EX or your like Latias CX or whatever, right? So ultimately, this card is fine. I think it's like a one of. I mean, it's honestly pretty powerful, but its use cases are a little bit niche as well. Then we have another Water Sport card, which is the Water Special Energy Bubble. Water Energy, while it's attached to a Pokemon, it provides water. Again, does not need to be attached to a water Pokemon to provide water energy. However, it does need to be attached to a water Pokemon for the second part, which is the Pokemon this card is attached to cannot have any special conditions, and any existing special conditions are removed, which is, I don't know. I mean, it's not very good, is it? Right? We've seen cards like this in the past. Specifically, we saw Aromatic Grass Energy. I think was the most recent one, which saw play on Lugia. Oh, was it for Raikou? Okay, yeah. So it saw play on Lugia, but it didn't really matter its effect, so that doesn't really count. Oh, and it saw play in Decidueye. But anyways, so this like is pretty niche, unfortunately. I think it's the worst of the four we've seen so far. We've seen the Grass, which is the 20 HP, which is like, I think it was previously the worst. And there's the fighting, stop the effects of attacks. Stop the effects of attacks. Like honestly, most special conditions are effects of attacks, I think. I'm trying to think of ones that are even like played. I mean, there's like Monkey Dory. There's also like the poison stuff, but a lot of that's rotating. So anyways, this is, more niche than the effects of the attacks thing, which the rock fighting one, which is the effects of the attacks one. I think that card's like okay. I'm definitely lower on it than other people. I think it's a fine card. But then the Telepath Psychic one is like the Search for Bench Psychic Pokemon, which I think is like super good. But anyways, I think this one is like by far the worst. I actually made a video ranking the cards by type. But anyways, yeah, I think this card is like not very good, unfortunately. Ultimately, these reveals are kind of meh. I think the best of them is the Mega Greninja EX, which could see play or not. I guess AZ's Tranquility is fine. But as I said, I think there's a typo here on Pokebeach, so tell me in the comment section about that. And if someone tells me what it is, if you like guess, you can guess as well, but don't like guess and say that you know it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, because I'm going to be talking about the other cards from the set as they are revealed. I'm very excited for that. I always like new sets, but I hope you do too. But I hope you enjoyed the video as well. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.